Hi, this is the video for the April Cedar Fort new releases, and here we go. Make sure you pay attention to when I announce the keyword for this video. First book I have is called Ripe Recipes, 4 Seasons of Fresh Cooking. The whole premise of this book is it's divided into the 4 different seasons and tells you all the fruits and vegetables and gives you amazing recipes for those different seasons. The author lives in New Zealand and has her own little deli called the Ripe Deli, and it's just beautifully done. It's a great book. It's very gourmet recipes, but at the same time, you don't have to spend a ton of money on eating healthy because you're eating in season, so it's a little bit cheaper. This book retails at $24.99 and is full color. Our next book is called Foiled. I'm very excited about this one. It's going to retail at $18.99. It has 50 different tinfoil dinner recipes. So this is going to be a great Father's Day gift for those gourmet campfire cooks that some of your customers may be. I know my dad's certainly one of those. It's also going to be great for just families that want to kind of have some fun over the summer and have some unique tinfoil dinners. It also gives instructions if you want to use your oven to cook the tinfoil dinners. So great fun little book, especially for those young men that are preparing for scouting camp or need to pass off a couple more merit badges. So $18.99 for Foiled. The next is Magnificent World of Spirits by Marlene Bateman Sullivan. She's the same author as the author for Gaze into Heaven, as well as Visits from Beyond the Veil. So this book essentially goes through a couple of different, the main questions that you ask. So where am I from? What am I doing? Where am I going? Then it also gives some near-death experiences of several individuals and the experiences they had beyond the veil. So for your audience that really likes the near-death experience books, this is our new one. It retails at $13.99 by Marlene Bateman Sullivan. The next one I have is Conspiracy at Carthage by Mark Goodmanson. It's going to retail at $19.99, and this is going to be for your Father's Day gift givers that for the fathers that love history. So the author really delved into the political state of Nauvoo. It really delved into people who are jealous of the Mormons and everything politically and kind of circumstantially that happened around the conspiracy at Carthage and why Joseph Smith they felt needed to be murdered. So I felt like this was the most historically insightful book about the Carthage conspiracy that I've seen in a really long time. So I felt like this is going to be a really great Father's Day book, and I myself learned a lot about the political atmosphere as well as the historical atmosphere at the time of Joseph Smith's martyrdom. So Mark Goodmanson retails at $19.99, Conspiracy at Carthage. Next one is Your Covenant. Mark Shields wrote our best-selling book, Your Endowment. That's the book that I read when I was preparing to go through the temple, and I'm very grateful that we have this new one called Your Covenant. I feel like it really delves into the covenants that we make in the temple and the importance of them and kind of the meaning behind them and how we can think about them and apply them in our everyday lives. I think this is going to be a really great seller, especially as you have a lot of people who are still preparing for their missions, as well as the summer wedding. So people are getting dad before they get ready for their wedding this summer. It retails at $13.99. Again, same author as Your Endowment, but this one's called Your Covenant, and I think is as well done, if not better, than Your Endowment. So stock up on this one for sure. Our next one is a pamphlet by David Ridges, which brings us to our April keyword for this video, which is ridges. Again, ridges is the keyword for April. The Righteous Role of a Father by David J. Ridges is going to retail at $3.99. It's just a fun pamphlet for dads. Excuse me. He essentially took the book Proclamation on the Family and took all the chapters out that talked about any kind of fathering role and kind of delved into those chapters and made it into a pamphlet. So a little bit of the text you've seen before, but a lot of it is new scriptural references, journal authority quotes that he's added in to really make this a great Father's Day pamphlet for the customers that want to give pamphlets instead of a card for Father's Day. So David J. Ridges, The Righteous Role of a Father. The next is another pamphlet called Future Missionary. This is actually going to also come, it's going to be available as its own little pamphlet if you want to stock it as a pamphlet. It's also going to be a Future Missionary gift pack in the Pioneer video that I'll talk about in a little bit. It's also going to retail at $3.99. What I loved about this is it's a really great way to prepare young kids to start interacting as future missionaries. So it gives activity ideas for how to invite your friends to church activities. It also gives great lesson examples for how to start them on paying a tithe and doing a fast offering and fasting. It gives great examples for how to get them involved in their own scripture study and how to get them studying and learning on their own. So fun little pamphlet. Again, is also going to be available in a gift pack for Pioneer. Just the pamphlet is $3.99. The next one is Headlong into Fury. It's by Ron White. It's going to retail at $15.99. It's a great story about Frank Kirtland, who wanted to be a fighter pilot in World War II, but instead was asked to be a bomber pilot. And kind of all the things that he learned about humanity and the integrity and the pain and the suffering caused by World War II. One thing that I really liked about the backstory of this book is that Ron White and Frank Kirtland, Ron White is his stepson. And after Ron White's mother passed away, they kind of needed something to kind of bridge the gap since his mother wasn't there anymore. And so Frank started telling Ron about all his stories, and it kind of allowed them to create a bond and understand each other and understand that there's still redemption in today's crazy world as well as back then in World War II. So really great historical book for the customers that want a great historical book for Father's Day. So again, Ron White retails at $15.99. So in the last video, I talked about the grandmothers and moms storybook books. These are the grandpas and dads storybooks. They both retail at $19.99. You can see that they both have fun different colors. They're going to be in the same leather that I showed you in the last video, but just different colors and a little bit different texture to how the tree looks on the cover. Again, great Father's Day gifts for the men in your life. This next one's another journal. It's called I'm Going Places. This is going to be a really great graduation gift for both high school graduations as well as college graduations. It's going to retail at $17.99 and be a hardback journal. What I love about this is inside there are just kind of nonsensical and very witty sayings in there. I think it's very well designed. It's going to be a really fun type journal for your adventurer type. Obviously, I'm Going Places as a spin-off of Dr. Seuss's book. Going to be just a really great gift for graduation time, as well as just a kind of pick-me-up journal type gift for those who are looking for something like that. Next one is 12 Leadership Lessons from the Life of Jesus Christ by Kimball Fisher. Kimball Fisher is a very renowned leadership expert. He has actually been given one of BYU's most prestigious awards in his involvement in the field of organizational behavior. He's worked with a very large majority of the Fortune 500 companies. He started out at Procter & Gamble and then kind of moved along, and now runs his own consulting firm working with people in leadership skills. So he's taken the life of Jesus Christ and kind of explained different lessons that we in today's world can learn from Jesus Christ. So everything from resolving conflict to delegating to empowering others around us. I myself learned a lot by reading this. I don't necessarily have the biggest leadership role in the church right now, but I felt like in my day-to-day life I could learn from this book and learn how Jesus Christ was an example to me and how I can be an example to others by implementing the lessons that he taught, especially applying them to the leadership role. So for the fathers that need, or just like the kind of Jesus Christ tie-in learning experience type books, this is going to be a really great one. It's going to retail $11.99, so a super awesome price point for Father's Day. Again, Kimball Fisher, and he's also doing a lot to market the book as well, so I think this one is going to be one of our best sellers for Father's Day. I have 4 fiction books that are releasing in April. The first is The Buckskin Trail. It is a national adult thriller. It retails at $15.99. So essentially this girl named Kelsey is 8 years old, and her parents and her are in a fire, and they never find her bones. But essentially, what happens is a spirit takes her away and takes her to her grandmother, who watches over her. And her grandmother is a Cherokee shaman. So, from the age of 8 until adulthood, Kinsley gets a kind of education in the Cherokee ways, and when she reaches adulthood is asked to take on the path that her father had been given. And the whole thriller is her learning experience, as well as how she's given this task and how it's implemented in her life moving forward. So the Buckskin Trail retails at $15.99 by Joanne Arnold. The next one is an LDS adult thriller by Denver AC. It's called The Cryptic Cipher. There's a man called Tanner, and he's on vacation with his family when an FBI chopper shows up, and he's told that the vice president has been killed, and there was a cipher left behind, and he's asked to decipher this cryptic cipher. So essentially what happens is he realizes that the symbols in it are native Guatemalan. He and his in-laws, who just got back from their mission in Guatemala, go to Guatemala. They find out this huge drug lord is behind all this. They return back to the Americas. A lot of political figures are disappearing. And finally, he finds out that the whole premise behind it is to demolish the U.S. Constitution. So very much an LDS thriller. Retails at $17.99. So going to be a fun book for your customers that like thrillers. So Denver AC. Next one's called Desert Rain. It's a book about an accountant who has to identify her boss's dead body. She starts working with a detective to kind of figure out who might have done it. They start investigating clients and coworkers. She's attacked by two of her coworkers when she realizes that they're embezzling money from the company. And essentially, the love story thriller ends up that the detective and the girl start falling in love over this case and kind of realize that they have a lot in common as far as values and religion. So fun little thriller romance by Jean Hallberg Matthews. The author lives in Mesa, Arizona, and the book retails at $15.99. The last one I have is called Treasure at Lure Lake. It is a juvenile survival book. So essentially 12-year-old Bryce finds a hidden treasure map in his grandpa's barn, and it's kind of a family secret. And so when Bryce and his older brother Jake and grandpa go on a family hike, the two brothers start fighting. Bryce is a little upset because he's really excited to go on this adventure and figure out what's on the map and kind of figure out the family secret. But after a climbing accident, Bryce is knocked unconscious, and grandpa is nowhere to be found, and they have to kind of figure out how to work together to get back home safely. So Treasure at Lure Lake is going to be just a fun little survivor type book for your adventurer juvenile reader. It retails at $12.99 by S.L. Schwartz, and the author lives in Fort Collins, Colorado. All right, those are our April new releases. Thank you so much for watching.